Good morning guys, and welcome to iPhone Smart. I am going to do another recording of a tutorial of how to actually use the site, and I'm going to use this tutorial in a little bit more detail, and I'm going to call it the turn 10,000 into 500,000 tutorial. And just to show you that is the proof here. As you can see here, in the month of March, as from the 10th of March to the 30th of March, we have started with 10,000 and have withdrawn no less than 493,000 in total. So it's a good name for this tutorial, and I want to do this in very much detail today so that you actually get the full potential out of this system. Now, first of all, we are on the dashboard. Now, the dashboard is just there by clicking on here. From this dashboard, you can see how many sports we have, 15 in total, how many races, how many sports and countries and tournaments and greenies in every single sport. And then all the USA-based sports by themselves at the bottom here. We cover over 40,000 events in a month, and we also cover the in-play portion where you can see the scores changing within 2 seconds of the score being updated. The MVP is all our members' best or most valuable picks for the day. So simply put, we each have an opportunity to pick the most valuable pick for us for the day. And here's some examples. That one's still coming now, but the first two already won. And let's get into it. So I'm going to start with, well, we might as well just start here today. Let's just do a quick overview before we start with the MVP section. Let's go to sports, and on the sports section here you can see we have proposed greenies by the algorithms for you, 26 of them today, 13 iPhone picks and 1 value pick, as well as a whole host of editors picks. Now I've made that profit just purely based on all the editors picks of March, and you can click on here and you can go back to the dates to go and check those editors picks out. You can also go move forward if there is editors picks already picked for the time ahead. In here you will see that for today, the 1st of April, and this is not an April Fool's video, you can see we already have had a football pick here, and that's already happened and won. You can close that down, and we can look at the detail by simply clicking on it. And here you can see the green team is the home team, and the home team, well, they won 9-1, so that is definitely a win. If you go further down here, you'll see there's all the editors picks for the rest of today still coming, some rugby, some table tennis, some tennis, and there's the finished on the other ones that's already been completed. But before, let's just go over to the greenie sections, and here you'll get a list of all the greenies proposed to you for the day in all the different sports. Like I said, we cover 15 sports, so there's a lot, and on weekends there's even a lot more. But yeah, it keeps you very well occupied to use your information to make profitable selections. Here you'll see there is 2 games in play at the moment. That's why they start at 11:30, 11:45, and currently the first one is ahead 2-1, and we are saying that should win 3-2, and the second one is ahead 2-0 and should win 3-2. So another 2, by the looks of it, correct predictions. If you move over to the value picks section, those are the ones that's above 100%, and here you see one for later today in basketball, 150% for Taiwan Beer against Bank of Taiwan, and that's the Taiwan SBL League first stage at 2 o'clock. And at the bottom here you can see the 24-month view, and you can flip from that 24-month view down all the way into detail to a 1-month view. So we'll get into that a little bit more detail soon. On the top here, American football, there's none today. Basketball, we have 73 of those today. baseball, hockey, rugby union, 285 football games for today, Aussie rules rugby league, 29 volleyball, 20 tennis, and also a lot of table tennis, 600-700 games per day. Here you'll see the tournaments. You can click on the countries and you can choose to search for a specific country. If you know what you're looking for, then that would be where you're going to find your specific country. You can do the exact same by finding a tournament, or you can use filters. Now, I just want to give you a brief example of what we mean by a filter. On the bottom here we have the details. So if you open any one of these, just click on the actual line that you want to see. You will see a host of information underneath that, and that information is split up in 15 different categories, and you get a score at the side here for those categories. In this specific example, there was 15 categories. The away team won 12 of them and the home team won 3 of them. Now, just in a little bit of detail, how that works is the categories is the actual percentages, the actual points, the 1-year RSI or relative strength index, the head-to-head start. Now, if I say a head-to-head start, I mean that where did they start 24 months ago on the head-to-head section, and in this case the start was a -3. So a -3 would mean a win for the away player. And to show you that in a bit more detail, I can simply unclick everything else and only show you the head-to-head. Now the head-to-head is in blue, so that makes the showing for you easier to know that the blue portion is head-to-head, the green is home for the home team, and the red is for the away team. So in our example here, the head-to-head, the very first game that was played on a head-to-head scale in this game was a 107-104 win for the away team. So the away team won by 3. That was the start, the head-to-head start, and that's why you see -3, because it was 3 for the away team. Now, in this time frame that we are on, in this case 24 months, if you click on any month, then it'll show you the time frame for that month. In this specific time frame, it also ended on 3 because there wasn't any others. So you'll see that extension moving all the way to here, where it sticks on a -3, and therefore the head-to-head net was 0, because a head-to-head start at -3, a head-to-head end at -3 gives you a net 0. The same applies for the RSI. So let me just take that out. Now, what RSI is, first of all, is the relative strength index. Now, what that means is we look at all the teams that both the home team and the away team played against within that exact time frame that we are looking for. In this case, over 24 months, we have seen the home and the away team both play the same teams. In this case, if you look at the detail here at the bottom, 129 matches that the home team played and 158 matches that the away team played during this 24 months against the exact same opposition. Now, maybe I should show you that with something that's not as many points, because clearly we are using something here where basketball has a lot of points. So I'll get to that in a little bit more detail. Let's look at maybe something like table tennis, where there's a lot less points. But in this example here, you'll see 129 games for the home team, of which they have won 37, they have drawn 9, and they have lost 83. The away team, 158 games, won 74, drawn 6, lost 78 of the exact same opposition within this 24-month period. And the average score, 109.51 to 111.7, would give you a net figure of -2.19 in this example. For the away team, 111.7 minus 109.51. And based on that as well, the RSI, relative strength, on that, in this case, 280 odd games, 287 games, the away team has a 54.7% chance of winning. The home team has a 40.7% chance of winning. and the draw is a 5.23% chance of a draw. Now that clearly changes. Now as it changes, you'll see there the 23 months is a 52%, 22 months is if it's red, then it means away, 53, 53, and it goes down here. By 11 months we get to a 60% for the away team. In a 10 month 60 as well. Within 7 we get to 63.95%, and as we move along we get to as much as a 64.7% chance on the 3 month RSI. Now clearly if I click on 3 months RSI, there hasn't been that many games. As we have seen on the 24 months, there has been 35 games where the home team has played. 9 of them was won, 3 of them was drawn, 23 was lost, and the away team played 33 and won 21, draw 0, and 12 lost. So clearly the home team played the exact same opposition as the away team within this exact 3 months time frame, and the home team could only win 9 of those games of the 35. The away team, however, could have won or did win 21 of those 33 games, the average score being 109.29 to 112.45. so the away team's score is also better than the home team's score. Therefore the overall calculation is a 64.71% chance on that for the away team to win on the 3 month RSI. Now that on the 2 month RSI has also changed slightly, because again there's less games, 16 and 15, and then on the 1 month RSI there's only 5 games for home and 3 games for away. But be that as it may, the percentages pretty much stays the same, as 62% chance to win for the away team. And you can see how the momentum has changed and everything else. Now if I say momentum, we're using data algorithms, stochastics, and linear regression models and weighted averages, and we also bring in the exact home advantage for that specific tournament as an average, so that we can build that into our overall calculation. So what we see in this example is, for example, I'm just going to take, if I hover over these, I will see the actual detail of that specific, in this case, Toronto Raptors on the 4th of March 21. They won 129-105, and the away team, Portland Trail Blazers, won 122 to 117. So in this specific example, the home team has won by 19 more than the away team in this specific game, and that's when you will also then, by just you can tick these off and therefore make those disappear, and you can see how the momentum has changed and how this curve, the linear curve, moves faster than the momentum. So you'll see a bit more of a curve on that. But let's just give you some more example by just clicking on table tennis and making those numbers a little bit smaller for you to actually not be too worried about the big numbers that we are dealing with at the moment. So here is table tennis for today. First of all, you can see we have 642 games covered. Of those we have 13 greenies, and we have 12 IPS value picks. So if you click on this, on any one of them, you'll see those 15 categories here, and those 15 categories that we've spoken about, like the percentages and the points, the 1 year RSI, the head-to-head RSI end figure, the head-to-head RSI net figure. So what we mean by that is, here's head-to-head start, here's head-to-head end, so playing each other at the start, playing each other at the end, and the net figure between the start and the end would give you the head-to-head net figure. Same with the relative strength index, has a start, in this case 0.1, has an end minus 0.99, and therefore has a net of minus 1.09. Therefore the away team has become stronger by 1.09 sets in this example over the course of the 2-year period we are covering. So that's why you see a lot of red at the bottom here, because the red team has been the stronger team. This blue line you see here is, according to the timelines, also the head-to-head performance that we have seen. And clearly, since we are now on a 1 month RSI, you can see this blue line is dropping down, and that's what we're seeing here with this blue line going from home won by 3-2 on the 3rd of March, which was like 28 days ago, and most recently away won by 3-1 on the 17th of March, which was 15 days ago. And by that extension, you can see that it looks like the away team head-to-head, from a head-to-head perspective, is getting better on a head-to-head performance level. Now you can take that momentum off and just concentrate on the RSI, which is the home, the away, the home curve, the away curve, the home momentum, the away momentum. So we take out all the head-to-head stuff, which all this blue stuff, we take that out, and we only concentrate on the green and red. So what that means is when green has played the same opposition as red, it'll be shown in green, and when red has played the same opposition as green, it'll be shown in red. So as you can see, that one there, that is the 12th connection point we see. Both of them played the player Putolovsky, and on the third, the away team Petrov beat them 3-1, and on the 4th of the third, a day later, the home team lost 3-1. So on that exact specific example, you can see the away team is clearly better because the away team won by 3-1 and the home team lost by 3-1. So that's pretty simple. Sometimes they do fluctuate up and down, and the reason why therefore we have the linear regression model on a weighted average is that the most recent games will have a bigger weight to carry than the old games, purely because a player's most recent performance is a better indication of him, how he is, than his old performance of 2 years ago. The same with any rugby team or football team or any other team for that matter. The aim is to win the game, and if you get better, then you win more often. If you get worse, then you lose more often. So at the top here, we can simply see that the two of them has played each other 6 times in the last 2 years, of which home has won 4 and away has won 2, with an average score of 2.33 to 2. And therefore, when we look at the other games where there's a head-to-head home and away component, then we also, in this case, just home and away, because Eston is the first player named home and Petrov is the second player named away. In this specific example, it doesn't mean much because there's no home and away advantage in table tennis. It would, of course, have a much bigger influence in a game like football or rugby or American football and anything else for that matter, where the home and away advantage has a role to play. In table tennis it doesn't. It's played under a roof, no weather conditions or anything, so it is the most predictable sport on the planet, purely because it's two guys playing in the exact same conditions every single time, trying to win a game of table tennis. So in this specific example, if I look at the 2 months or the 24 months, you'll see they have played a lot. Home has played 219 games, won 99, lost 120. Away has played 323 games, a lot more, won 174 of those, lost nothing, well, because there is no draws here, and lost 149. So 174, lost 149, so he's winning a bit more than he's losing against all the opposition, and the average score is 1.77 sets home, 2.27 sets away. So slight advantage, in this case a 0.5 set advantage that we see over this 24-month period. Now when I move that 24-month period to the very most recent period, first of all you'll obviously see that there is a lot less games. So home has played 30, of which he's won 11, he's lost 19. And away has played 38, won 23, lost 15, and now the average score is 1.58 to 2.53, and therefore the gain for the away player has been from a 0.5 on the RSI to a 0.95. So he's actually been getting a bigger and bigger gap against the home player. In some instances you see that gap being huge, and I'll show you some of those examples. That becomes editors picks or value picks or IPS picks, purely because the stats says that the one is gaining momentum much quicker, is playing much better, and therefore has a much bigger chance to win. So what you will see on the top here is, in this case, this game was, according to the bookies, very difficult to call, and the odds would suggest that it's an even Stevens game. 1.83, which is 83% return for the home player. 1.83, 83% return for the away player. We called this game to be 3-2 in the best of 5 sets. That was the exact score as well. So you'll see 3-2 was what our prediction was. 3-2 was the exact actual score as well. So we got this one spot on. All of these here we see we've got the percentage 53.99% overall for the away player, 46% overall for the home player, and that is within the whole 24-month bracket. You can clearly see how that has changed over the last few months, where on the very last year it has changed on a 1-month bracket to a 61.76% chance for the away player. Clearly, if you're getting a 61.76% chance, you have a much better chance than the 53.9% chance, so you are gaining as an away team in this example. Now, each one of these indicators, the head-to-head start, the head-to-head end, head-to-head net, RSI start, end, and net, the combination of head-to-head and RSI start, the combination of head-to-head and RSI net. Now, how do we see that? So it's head-to-head and RSI is here. Those two combining together as an average, and the end figure the exact same. So I look at this minus 0.37 to a minus 0.99. The average of those two together, head-to-head end figure, would be a minus 0.68. Now, what you see when you hover over it on the top here is we have analyzed 643 of these matches in the Men's Liga Pro, and of those 643, if you don't use any filters or any percentages or anything else, and you just clearly look at our predictions, we've been correct in 63.92% of the time, which is 64, almost 64%. But that's when you use absolutely nothing as an indicator. You just are looking at all of those 700 matches that you've been playing for every single day. So for today, we have played 643 matches, and we've been correct 63.92% of the time in that, without using any filters. Now let's show you what those filters mean. If I click on these filters above here, you'll see, and you can create as many as you like. I've got a hot filter, a strong filter, a good filter, a value filter, and a most recent form filter, and I'll take you through these just in a couple of examples. So first of all, you can take out the reliability. In other words, how many games have we had? Caution means there hasn't been a lot of games. Fair means it's been a fair amount of games, and good means there is a very reliable amount of games. The data amount of games, the steekproef, what we call it, has been enough for us to suggest that we can reliably say that it's a big enough sample. And this is just to only show you the fixtures with odds. This overall win, draw, loss percentage, what that means. I'm just going to open another tab so I can hover around them and show you what that actually means. Or maybe I shouldn't do it like that because it might just confuse you even more. But yeah, it's better to actually just have it on different screens so you can confirm and have a look at these different ones. But I'm going to try and do it like this so you can just see out that the recording doesn't make it too slow. But first of all, so the percentage is this percentage we're talking about here, is that percentage and this percentage. So on this filter here, that percentage, this overall win-draw loss percentage, you can move to what you require in your filter. So I can, for instance, say, only show me the games when there's at least a 54% chance for the team to win. This is the both teams to score. In other words, in football, whether both teams is going to score. That head-to-head start figure as a set, how many sets must the one be ahead of the other. The head-to-head end figure, how many sets do you have to be ahead of the other one, and the net figure. The same with RSI, start figure, end figure, and net figure, and then the combination of head-to-head and RSI together. That would be exactly what we showed at the top here. The combination of head-to-head and RSI together, the start figure, the end figure, and the net figure. Those are the exact same filters that you see here. You'll even see the same signs here and icons here. And then these MIC points that I'm referring to, earlier I said there was 15 major impact categories, and we call them MICs. And here you can say, well, you want at least 12 out of 15, or you want 15 out of 15. And obviously you will have a lot less games if you're only looking for the games where you have a full 15 out of the 15 points going to only one specific player. And here's the net impact of the net, in other words, how many points you want to have the one being better than the other. So if you, for instance, have a 12-3, then you have a net impact of 9, because it's 12-3 over that impact. But if you have a 8-7, then you only have a net impact of 1. At the bottom here, this is where you choose those actual months. Now what we were referring to in the data as these 24, 23 all the way down to 1 months, this is the months you can actually take each and every one of these indicators and only zoom in on that specific month. So you'll say, okay, I only want a 1 month RSI, or I want it all the way up to show me the full 24 months. And the same with that value, you want the value to be above 1.1 or whatever the case. So in this example, if I'm looking for a RSI 1 month value of above 1.1, it would mean that this RSI 1 month figure here that's currently at 0.95, I want that to be at least 1.1 sets. That's what that filter would be. And this RSI win-draw loss percentage is quite simply the one underneath that. You can choose only filter the games where this percentage here, currently the 61.75% that you can see here, or you can see here, you want that to be above that specific percentage. So let's put that to use. Now I've got some filters here where I actually do that, and you can choose how strong you want your indicator to be. If you want an overall percentage for the team to at least win 57% of his games, and you want his RSI to be extremely strong, in other words, you want his RSI to be at least 2 sets stronger than the other one. So what I'm looking for now is I want an overall win-draw loss percentage of above 57%. So that would mean that oops, okay, that was wrong. Now I have both on the same side, so let me keep this one here. So what that would mean would be I now want an overall, in this case now, let's just apply that filter again. I took the wrong one out. So let's take that one for instance, apply. Now let's use the strong one. I was just showing you as an example. The 57% for overall and the 60% for rolling months, and the set difference value of 2 sets. So in this example here, my strong filter will give me very few games out of that 642 games to say I only want the games for above 57%, and I only want to see where the 1 month RSI figure, which is this 1 month year figure, is above 60%. And we'll apply that, and we'll see how many we get. Out of this whole list of 642 matches for today, we now only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. 10 out of 642. So we've already used the filter to quite an extreme. And on the left here, you'll see these little yellow stars. Now, those little yellow stars are what we call editor's picks, and you'll find them here on this editor's picks section. But so what in my example now, I was looking for a 1 month RSI of above 2, and clearly that one is, because it's a 2.67 for the away player, and I want it to be above 60%, which it clearly is. It's an 80%, and I want the overall percentage to be, for the same team, to be above a 57%. And it is, because it's a 57.86%. So already I have quite a strong filter here, and this data would suggest to me, as this is a wave of red all the way from 24 months down to 1 month, that the away team players should win. The average score that we've seen here is a 0.5 to a 3 which is pretty similar to what we actually ended up with. We ended up with a score of 0.3, and that was 0.5 to 3.17. So really the away team player is a lot stronger than the home team player. And on his most recent form, he has as strong as an 80% chance to win, and that would be because the home team has played 3 and lost all 3, and the away team has played 2, won 1, and lost 1. So that would mean 4 out of 5 been won, since that 3 year that's been lost by the home player would then be gained by the away player, and 1 plus 3 equals 4. 4 out of the total of 5 would give you the 80%. The same on the other side, since the home player, since the away player has only got a 4 out of 5, and away player has lost 1, it would mean that 1 out of 5 could potentially go to the home player. So that's an 80%. And in this example, the sets is huge. 0.5 to 3.17 gives an average of a 2.67 sets advantage for the away player, which again emphasizes why the away player should really be winning this. Now let's look at some examples where the filter came out and it didn't happen. So this one here, again we see, well, yes, red is improving, and that means that the red player is going up. The head-to-head bar is going down. Now the 0, which is in the middle here, should maybe make that 0 more prominent line so you can easier see it. The 0 suggests that right at the beginning here, home was winning the first one, 3-1 for home, but since then it's gone down, 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 and here the 15th of March, the away player won 3-0, and further down, most recently, the away player again won 3-0, and as you can see the curve being extended here, it suggests that it can't go worse than 3-0. It can't, best out of 5, it can't lose worse than 3-0. So this graph suggests that the red team is way more stronger than the home team at the moment. And to prove that even further is you can see these little numbers here. This number 1 would therefore agree to the number 1 on the red side, and if you hover over it you can see the details. So the green player, 26th of March, played Cernota, lost 3-2. The red player, the away player, has played Cernota 3 times and won 3-1 on the 11th of March, won 3-2 on the 18th of March, and won 3-0 on the 25th of March. Also suggesting that most recently the away player has gone stronger, stronger, stronger. And you can do that with any of these. You can hover across any of them and it'll show you the adjacent same examples for the opposite side. So in this example you can quite clearly see that red is quite strong and green is weak. And here and there red doesn't do so well, maybe he's got an off day, and you can see that little one dropping here. Red lost by 2, but in this example he wasn't actually that bad. It was just that the other opposition was so strong, because green, the home player, lost 3 times against that same guy by 3. So in this example the red player is still better because he only lost by 2, and the home player lost 3 times by 3. In this example here, red player has lost by 1, 3-2. Home player lost by 2. So again, red, even though it dropped there, was still better than green, because green was even worse than the 3-2 loss. He had a 3-1 loss. So those you can quite clearly see there's a big gap, and the bigger this gap is here between green and red, or red and green, depending on which one is above, the more chance you can really think that that this team has of winning. And you can also emphasize that on these percentages and this huge difference. You can see like a 2 difference, 2 set, 2 set, 2 set, 2 set, 2.19, 2.09, 2.15, 2.05, huge difference. And those are the sets here. This is 0, a 1, a 2, and a 3 to the home side, and 0, 1, 2, and 3 to the away side. So that's how that is plotted. So let's go look at an example that we found out of this filter, but it actually ended up losing. Let's see if we can find a reason why it was actually losing. And sometimes you can see the reason quite easily. And in this case, you can see there's a little bit of potential for this home guy. He's not the best, but he does flash up every now and then. And to show you an example of that flash is on here. On the 4th of March, he played David P, and he won 3-0. On that same day, on the 4th of March, the away player also played David P, and the away player lost 3-1. So that was a mistake by the editor to actually think that that wouldn't have a big enough influence, because he has shown he has the ability. Most of the time, you can see the red line is way above, but every now and then there's a little bit of a flash. On this day, for instance, on the 19th of March, they both played Prokopov, and they both won. They both beat Prokopov 3-2. So the green player every now and then has a bit of a flash. The one time that the two of them played against each other, you can see that in this specific month, away did win 3-1. So there was an expectation that the away is going to win again there, but this flashing up did actually happen, and quite frankly, it wasn't worth your while to take 16% return in this match for the away player, because quite simply 16% is not enough. So those are the kind of examples that wasn't an editor's pick, and the reason being, I picked up that that there is a chance for the other guy to also have these kind of flashes up and down. So if I look down further down the line here, you can see that there is some more coming later, and here's one at 7 tonight, 53% chance for Sidorak to win. Now, if I'm looking at the Setka Cup 1920 tonight, I'm getting a 53% chance with 14 out of 15 indicators showing me home team. The range here that we show is that home should be getting 2 to 3 sets and away should be getting 0 to 2 sets. Now, it means that home couldn't really get to the 3 sets required to win a best out of 5. There's a little bit of problem, a little bit of doubt, as you can see this little green flash down his most recent game, 27th of March, which is like 4 days ago. He lost to Nikolenko 3-1, but the red team, the away team, also lost to Nikolenko 3-1 on the 4th of March, lost 3-1 on the 19th of March, and lost 3-0 on the most recent 26th of March. So it's not too much of a train smash, big of a concern, because even though he lost 3-1 to Nikolenko, the away team has only lost or lost worse to Nikolenko. If you move up to the second most recent game, you can see that on the 27th of March he played Kolos and he won 3-1, where the away team also played Kolos on the 4th of March and lost 3-2. So that's a 3-set difference between the two, and a 3-set difference between the two on the very recent form on the 1 month. Does show you why this 53% is really good value and why that is a yellow editor's pick. You can also see that in the last month they have both played the same opposition 28 times for home and 14 times for away. Of the 28 times home played the same opposition as away, home won 22 of the 28 games, and away played 14 and won 2 of those 14, lost 12 of those 14. So that shows you that in the last month the home team has an 80.96% chance of winning, and yet the bookies are offering 53%. Now if anyone gives me a 53% chance, 80.95% chance of winning and a 53% return, I would take it 1,000 out of 1,000 times, because if I get those kind of odds 1,000 out of 1,000 times, I'm going to win 809 times out of that 1,000 times, and I'm going to make way more money than what the bookies are offering, because I'm going to get 809 times 53%, and I'm only going to lose 191 times. So if I was taking that 1,000 times, so it's pure probability. So why this is a yellow star, and it's also a IPS pick at the side, you can see that. So that is the kind of thing that we're looking for. If you're going through any of these indicators, it is quite easy to then also add that to your list for the day, to actually put that on your list, the ones you want to bet on. How do you do that? You can either click on these 3 stars at the side here that says you must add it to your watch list, or you can, in my case, I create them as yellow stars, edit or de-edit. I can take them off as well. Or if this is your very best pick for the day, then you pick it as an MVP. You can only have one MVP per day, so pick your MVP very wisely. That is the one selection for the day that you are willing to put your house on. So help each other in the community. If you are serious about making that one pick, and everyone else in the community is serious about making that one pick, we can all help one another, where everyone can look at those MVPs and say, wow, hey, this is brilliant. We have everyone's best interest at heart, and everyone's picking your most valuable pick, an MVP. You can see we're doing very well in the TT Star Series. We have 82.35% win ratio out of the last 51 matches today, which is absolutely brilliant. So, in a nutshell, that is what any and every sport looks like. If you want to add it to your watch list, I could take this one and I could go and add that to my watch list. What that essentially means, at the top left here we have a watch list, and anything that you add to your watch list you can then go and use on your betting slip, and we'll be improving this functionality a lot more. We'll also be having some other things like virtual punter, where you can actually just try it out, and you can have your friends try it out as well. We'll have a lot of statistics, especially in the other stuff in the sports, and well, I have an admin section. So there's a lot more things coming. If you're looking for any specific rugby team, cricket team, football team, etc. in that sport, you can be on that sport and you can use this search functionality. And here you can see all the searches on this page, and you can just start typing. If I'm, for instance, looking for, let's say that this Kotov game, I can just simply go say Kotov, and it'll start looking for it. And there's Kotov is playing 1, 2, 3 times today. He's playing against Trakchuk, he's playing against Prokhoruk, and he's playing against Malachevsky. So yeah, the names is obviously a little bit tough, but yeah, it's not that difficult to find. If you're looking for the game, just start by the actual series and the actual time of the series. So if I'm moving along here, another way to actually look at this, if you take out all of these games and you really want to look in play, you can say we're at 12:39 p.m. now. I can now go and just say, okay, well, let's just see everything that is happening since 12 p.m. So out of the 640 games, let's just see everything that maybe starts at 12:45. So if you want to just look at something in the future, I'm going to say 12:30, so I can see some of the in-play games coming or happening at the moment, because it's 9 minutes past 12:30 already. And now you'll only be concentrating on what's left for the day. And then you can use your filters in that exact same day, in the exact same way, and you can now start only filtering out those. So a filter I like to use is one that's not that strong, but still pretty strong. And I'll show you, that's the overall 51% chance. In other words, the team has a better than 50% chance of winning. He is more than at least a 1,1 set better than the other team. And he also has most recently, in the 1, 2, 3 month bracket, had a 54 or more % chance of winning. So I use this one quite a lot, and then I start looking at the detail further. So let's just look at that for a second and say, okay, well, on the 4 months, okay, let's just do most recent, maybe a 1 month. My 1 month RSI, he has to have at least 1.1 sets better and at least a 54%. So let's see how many of those we have left for the rest of today. And here we have 4 pages. There's 20 on a page, so we almost have close to 80 of these to choose from. So we can start right ahead and look at this one that's coming up at 12:50, which is in 9 minutes time from now. And let's see what we have here. Why is this an editor's pick? Now clearly, first of all, Moloko versus Nikulenko 1250 TT Cup. Overall, over the last 2 years, he's got a 54% chance of winning. Most recently, though, in the last month, he has a 75% chance on his most recent form, and that is because of these 15 games, he's won 14 out of 15, and the away team of his 17 has won 7 out of 17. That's terrible. Home team is way stronger on the 1 month strong form. He does also confirm that by his most recent head-to-head game, which is only one of them in the last month. He has shown, and that's what this blue dot means on the graph, as well as what this blue bar means here. You can see this blue bar was solid, solid, solid. Both had the same chance of winning, and all of a sudden, since the 9 months, it started popping up and saying, now I'm in charge, home is in charge. You can see the top is for home. If this drops down to the bottom, it goes to away, obviously, but he's above the green, above the home mark, and therefore home is in charge now. And since then, you can see 0.37, 0.55, 0.76, 1.18, 1.35, and now most recently a 2.43 set advantage. So he's gained a lot, the home player. Against the away player, he's become way, way better. Same on the percentages, tells us the same story. It started here at 53.7%, went up 55, 56, 59, 64, 68, and on his 1 month, 75% chance of winning. And that we get because of this 32 matches here. Home has won 14 of these 15, and on top of that, away has lost 10 out of 17. So add that 10 to that 14, that's 24 out of the total. Home is winning, and away is winning the 1 that home has lost, plus the 7 that he managed to win himself. So he's getting 8 out of 32, and home is getting 24 out of 32. Now, how do I get 32? Home has had 15, and he's won 14. Away has had 17, and he's won 7, and he's lost 10. So the 10 he's lost obviously means then that the home should be getting that 10. So the 14 plus the 10 gives you 24 out of 32, or 75%. And the away has won 7 by himself, and home is giving him only 1. So 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 of the 32 gives you that 25%. So home's in charge, not only by 75% chance. He doesn't just win close, he also wins by, on average, a 2.3 or 2.43 set better advantage. So yeah, will you take 66% on that? 75% chance to win 66%. On top of that, you also have a backup of a 2.43 set advantage across the last 32 matches. Yes, of course, you'll take that. And that's why it's a yellow star. So if you look at any of these, is there a little bit of problems? Yes, there's a concern here. On the very last one, which is this morning, the 1st of April, you can see his very latest update. We actually have Maxiuta V. He's beaten Maxiuta V 3-1. And home today as well, earlier today, has lost 3-2. So here the number 1 is crossing across the number 1 here. And that's definitely a concern, because maybe he's starting to think, I'm going to start doing something about it. So that's one time where I'll give 1 point to the away team. If I take the number 2 section on the 1st of April, which is today, home team won 3-2, and yesterday, the 31st of March, the away team lost 3-1. So now I'm giving a point back to the home team. If I go one more, there both of them played the same guy here that they've played. So he just had a slip up this morning, because he did play him last night and he beat him 3-1, which is by 2 sets, where away managed to beat him 3-2 this morning, a few hours later. On the number 3 section, home has won 3-0 on the 31st of March. Away this morning lost against Pismeni 3-0. Boom, done. And here you can see that Pismeni 3-0 done there. So that clearly means that home has won 3-0, away has lost 3-0. Here away, just yesterday, lost 3-0 to Maxiuta, and yet this morning he beat Maxiuta just 3-2. On this one, the number 2, he's lost 3-1, but home has not ever lost to the away player. He's beaten him 3-2, 3-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-1, and 3-2. So he's had 6 chances. He's beat him 6 out of 6, and away has had 1 chance and lost. So quite clearly, this is a good value example. That quite clearly shows you the number of numbers you have is the number of opponents that you've had. And in this example, we have number 1s, number 2s, number 3s, and number 4s. So they've only had 4 of the exact same opponents in the last month, but 4 is already a good number given that there's 32 matches filled up. So I think Moloko is a good pick at 66% chance with 13 out of the 15 indicators, as well as a most recent 75% and a most recent 2.43 sets advantage. I'll definitely take that 66% any day. There's also some value. I mean, if you look at value, look at this one. Cuts 14.25. We're saying that the home team player should win, and the home team is at 125%. And the home team has got 10 out of the 15 indicators, and on top of that, he also has an overall almost a half a set on the head-to-head RSI difference, and he also has a 1.42 sets on the head-to-head RSI net figure. So quite a nice advantage there. On top of that, he also has a most recent 59.76% and the most recent 1.44 sets advantage. So at 125%, you have a very close to 60% chance of cuts winning. And the reason the bookies are wrong here is the bookies doesn't see all of this. The bookies just says, history head-to-head 105, which means cuts has won 1 out of the 6 times that the 2 of them met. Let's look at that in a bit more bigger perspective. We take away the home RSI, the away RSI, the home curve, the away curve, the home momentum, the away momentum. And now what do we see? Only the head-to-head, which is this section where the 6 matches is. First of all, what I'm definitely seeing is we started off with a minus 2.23 at the bottom here, which is this head-to-head start that you see here. And if you hover over it, you'll see on your indicators, out of the last 7,748 matches, this indicator was the correct indicator in 49.01% of the time. So we've started here. This is obviously 2 years ago. And 2 years ago we started on this 2.23, and then we moved over and he was still better and he was still better, and here we started seeing, okay, there a little bit of a shift because home had his first win, and all the time this momentum is moving up, 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 up. And the most recent one, you'll see it's gone to as much as a minus 0.3 sets, which means in the course of the last 2 years, head-to-head has changed from minus 2.23 to minus 0.3, which means the head-to-head net figure has changed by a full 1.94 sets. That's pretty decent. On top of that, you'll see the 7,748 matches. Only 35% of the time the head-to-head net matters the most. The RSI net matters 50.88% times, and RSI net is almost 1 set advantage. The RSI end figure was correct 56.25% of the times, and clearly RSI end is a 1.23 advantage, which is quite strong. And the RSI start was a 54.88. On the RSI start, home is also ahead, not by much, 0.33. So I think 125% is really good value, given what I'm seeing here, 56.25% on the end RSI and a 59.76% on the 1 month RSI, clearly going in the right direction for cuts. I might have a little bit of a nibble at 125%. We get some huge bombs as well, but don't get me wrong. I'll give you some of those examples in a second. And we do get sometimes that we have a 6-to-1 where we choose the 6-to-1 to win and not the 2-to-10, for example, to win. So maybe that's a lot to take in. It's almost been 1 hour, so maybe that's a good start to take that in. And yeah, please leave your comments and your likes and your unlikes or dislikes in the section. I will leave that on the YouTube channel for everyone to see. And if there's any questions, just put those on there as well, guys. And I hope you make use of all the information, all the data. It's free of charge to everyone. So please spread the word. This is a charity organization. At the moment it is still, because we are still developing a whole lot more of cool stuff. And all of this is being done with money generated out of our winnings. Thank you guys. Have a lovely day and hope to see you soon on ipuntsmart.com.